If you're a new painter out there, you've probably wondered, what the heck is gesso and how can it help? What's it made out of? What does it do? Do I really need it? Well, luckily for you, I'm going to answer all those questions and more and show you how this material here can help you be a better painter at the start. Let's go. Hey all, it's me, it's Wild, coming at you to help you unlock your creative potential. If this is your first time here and you want to become bigger and better with your creative adventures out there, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button and tick that bell so you know when my videos go live for you. And hey, real quick, if you like any of the products that I'm talking about, did you all a favor put links in the show notes below, so make sure you check them out. Now, if you're new to painting, you most likely don't know what gesso is and what's it made out of. Well, to put it simply, back in the day, gesso was made out of three materials. It was made out of a binder, which was animal glue, plush chalk, and then a pigment, generally white. Now, as gesso got more popular, it changed in modern times. It became a combination of a binder plus chalk and gypsum, which is the main ingredient in chalk in today's drywall. Think like a really fine grit sand, as well as again a pigment which was generally white. Today's gesso has gone through again another evolution. It's generally made out of more or less today's calcium carbonate, which again is the main material in today's chalk, as well as a binder and again a pigment. But today, that pigment is generally white and or black. Now let's get really into the nitty-gritty of the information you need to know if you're a beginning painter out there. Do you need gesso and what are its benefits? Well, to put it simply, yeah. You do need to use gesso if you're a beginning painter because it has some awesome benefits, which is a whole nother video. But I want you to concentrate on two particular benefits that's going to change the way you paint. Now, the two awesome benefits that I want you to concentrate on kind of go hand in hand, if you will. When you apply gesso to your canvas before you start painting, it actually is preventing the canvas from absorbing all of your pigment and binder, because your canvas wants to act essentially like a sponge. When you put paint on top of a raw canvas, it's going to soak in all that binder material and all that pigment material, which means you're going to have a heck of a time blending your colors and stretching out the colors that you apply on the canvas, because it's going to absorb it really quick, which means you're going to eat through a lot of your materials and have a really hard time blending your colors naturally on the canvas. In addition to the natural flow of the paint and blending colors, because there's that calcium carbonate, which is like a really, really fine sand, when you apply that on your canvas and you take your paintbrush with pigment across it, that fine sand is actually grabbing that pigment and allows you to actually naturally paint, which means that the paint will flow naturally off your brush, which is what you want, and you won't have to work it as hard. And those are the awesome two benefits that are going to change the way you paint right off the bat. Now, like I said, today's gesso generally comes in two colors. It comes in white and black, but you're not limited to that. The cool thing about today's gessos is you can add color to them, which means you can work on toned canvases or have blocked in colored backgrounds if you like to work in a certain color background color. So if you want to have a vibrant blue or a muted out brown, depending on what kind of stylized effect you want to go to, all you have to do is simply add a pigment to your gesso and you're good to rock and roll. I myself even make a gray gesso when I do my Bob Ross wet on wet paintings. So this way I know if I miss any particular spot when adding my base coat of magic white or liquid white on top. Remember how we talked about how gesso has that calcium carbonate in it, which is that fine, like gritty sand material inside the gesso, which allows you to flow your paint? Well, if you're really into doing smooth style paintings, whether it be like photorealistic or portraits or whatever you're going for, you can actually sand down the gesso between layers that you add on top of your canvas or wood panels or whatever you're painting on top of. Now, there's a proper application and technique of applying gesso and sanding it to prep for whatever type of painting you want. And if you'd like a video on that, do me a favor, leave me a comment below and I'll be more than happy to make a video like that in the future for all of you out there. Now, if you're a beginning painter out there, you're probably wondering, which one should I go with when I buy my gesso? Do I really need to invest into the professional artist grade, or can I get away with the student entry-level grade? Well, to be honest, I really haven't noticed much of a difference. But if you want to know what the differences are on the professional grade or the artist level grade, generally there's more pigment, which means it's going to be more opaque when you apply it to your canvas. So that way it's going to have a little more density to it, which means it doesn't need as much filler material. On the student grade material or gesso here, there's actually less pigment in it and more of a filler material in it, which means if you want to have a nice dense gesso layering, you may have to apply more layers of gesso. But to be honest, I mean, I haven't really noticed that much of a difference between the two, but I'm not a professional artist out there. And if you're not a professional artist, I would say stick with the student or entry level grade gesso until you really need to upgrade or you turn your adventures into a career. Look, gesso is a really cool tool and you're gonna use it constantly for all of your painting needs out there. And if you don't have any gesso, it is a material that you need to have within your painting tool bag. So if you don't have it, get it today, and I put links in the show notes below for cheapest places you can buy it online. So make sure you check them out because it helps me out. Now, if you're scared or you don't know how to apply gesso or the correct techniques, not to worry, I got you covered on that because I've already done a video on that. I'm gonna put it over here on the right-hand side. It's gonna show you some cool tips and tricks on how to apply gesso perfectly if you're an oil painter or a wet painter out there. Until next time, I will see you all in my next creative adventure video to help you out to become bigger and better. Take care all, and I will see you all next time, and peace!